a chicken and make her name it gay!
That's not how the Force works.
I don't care! I don't care! I don't care!
Well, that's just a gay sound. G'day guys and welcome back to Casual Rage. Prepare to start the show, R2. This is where the fun begins. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Casual Rage. Casual Rage 203. What am I saying? Where we casually rage out about the topics of the week. I hope you're all doing well. We missed last week. There wasn't really a lot to talk about, though, last week. So it was actually kind of a good week to take off. Glad I didn't take off this week, though. Man, there is so much to go over. This is going to be the Kathleen Kennedy episode of Casual Rage, basically, because there is so much to actually go over. And especially with her statement coming out today, really shows, like, how fucked everything is, to be honest with you. To be completely honest with you, Lucasfilm is a disaster. Kathleen Kennedy is not going anywhere, not until she's good and ready. And we got to get into it. Like I said, this is going to be the Kathleen Kennedy edition of Casual Rage. So get ready for it. But let's quickly say hello to... Oh, what was with that sound, too, at the beginning? Before we do say hello to everybody. What is with the music? Yeah, that's horrible. Didn't even give us a choice. StreamYard. Oh, well, we'll just have to use the Mozza one then. Let's say hello to the chat. We got Darth Ghostface. How you doing, Ghostface? Using his emojis. We got Tillium in the chat. How you doing? Good to see you. We got Mike Hill, the great Mike Hill. Papa Palpatine's Pizza Padawan. Saying hello to everybody in the chat and myself. Scotty, how you doing, Scotty? Let's see. Mr. Tex. Come on, dude. You know what's really funny is like 2 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I was still like kind of building the channel and everything. Not that it's really gone anywhere or done anything miraculous, but I came up with an entire script basically mocking Doomcock. His name was Dictor Van Dumbcunt. Firafima's in the chat. How you doing, Firafima? Good to see you. Lara A. How you doing, Lara? Good to see you. She always catches the replay. Always catches the replay. Good to see you. We got Blake in the chat. How you doing, Blake? Good to see you, dude. Tommy. Doomcock. And yes, Mike Hill, with a little reminder here. Rest in peace, Gene Hackman. Died at the rightful age of 95. Lived a good life. Did some great movies. Some of my favorites, I would say, would be Crimson Tide, I think was really good. And he was really good in Crimson Tide. Like a lot of his... Hang on a second. Like, obviously, there's Superman, there's Lex Luthor. Luthor? Nitrium, how you doing? Man, there's been, like, what was that young girl's name? Michelle, is it Michelle? I can't remember her last name. She was in, like, Road Trip and stuff like that. Passed away at 39. That's way too young. That's way too young. All right. Let's bring this up. Well, I almost gave myself whiplash just then, and I don't know why. Rip Dawn. What are some of your favorite Gene Hackman movies? The Replacements. Yes, that was the other one that I was at. There it is. He was so good in that. So good in that. Enemy of the State. That's the Will Smith one. There's a better one. Crimson Tide. Really good. Heartbreakers. My sister loved that movie. Behind Enemy Lines. Oh, that was the one. Yeah, that was okay. Get Shorty. Why do I not remember him in Get Shorty? Obviously, all the Superman movies, Ants, Heist. It's funny, you know, like some of these movies, I reckon I've seen them, but I never put a title really to them. Like they've come up on TV or something like that. It's like, oh, that's Gene Hackman. Under Fire. 1983, the year I was born. There you go. R.I.P. Gene Hackman. It's a bit sad. Legend. And you look at what he's done and some of the things that he's been in, and it's a little bit sad. We're losing some of these absolute legends. But anyway, bit sad to start off with, but let's get into some of the news, shall we? Let me get rid of those. Now, because we did miss last week, I just want to touch on this really quickly because it was just so funny. And of course, at the moment, I'm not really doing videos. I don't know if you've probably noticed. I haven't really been doing any videos. I thought about doing a video on this, and then obviously I thought about doing a video on the Kathleen Kennedy thing. I thought about doing a reaction to the Andor trailer, but then I just thought I'll just do it live. I'll just do it with you guys live, and that'll do. Because also, too, with the Andor trailer, I don't care enough that I still haven't watched it. You can believe that or not, but I honestly have not watched that trailer. So, Mark Hamill's pants. So this was the story. This was probably the main story that we missed from last week. Okay? So
what makes us love cinema so...
Hang on. Are you guys getting an echo? Because I really don't want to put my headphones on if I can help it. Man, every time. See, it's not. Man, I gotta get more sleep. I got really dark under my eyes, and I've had it for a long time. And yeah, when I go small, hold on, it looks even darker. Sound is okay. No echo. That's interesting. Because normally, if I don't have my headphones in, I get an echo. All right, let's go.
much that we're all gathered here to celebrate tonight. For me, it's that films create worlds so vivid and stories so powerful that we lose ourselves in them completely. They create immersive cinematic landscapes.
Okay.
That feel alive, whether they're set here in London or anywhere.
So there's so much to unpack here. So like everybody talked about it, obviously, and I just want to give my 2 cents on it. I talked about it on Flashcast as well. But how did he get to the podium without his pants falling down? If they were really that loose that he could just be standing there and they fall down. They fall down and his voice, you can hear the embarrassment. He did well to just keep talking, right? But it probably, with how obvious it was, it would have been better for him to play on it, right? But this is the thing. He, in his mind, lives in such a serious world, such a serious environment, right? That he can't even make a joke at himself after something embarrassing like this happens. Now, yeah, there is the element of that stage fright of like, shit, I'm on stage in the middle of giving a speech in front of, I don't know, hundreds or thousands of people, and like possibly thousands, tens of thousands watching at home, and my pants have just fallen down. But I just love, I love the way his voice crackles. I love how there's reports that there were people off to the side that really saw everything that happened. Like, look at that face. Look at that face as he's going to grab his pants. Oh my God. Mark, you've become an embarrassment. You went from being a hero and a childhood hero and somebody that even myself as a 41-year-old man loved it, I love the fact that you were Luke Skywalker. I would have loved to have met you at some point or whatever. Now I don't care. Like, if I was to come across you in the street, I'd almost not even come up to you. I probably wouldn't. Because you're so retarded now. But yeah, that's a great freeze frame. And then there is the element of the fact that then the camera zooms out as he's tucking himself back in. Just an adjustment. He is a clown. Go GT. So anyway, I just want to hear his voice crack again.
It's that films create worlds so vivid and stories so powerful.
It's like that. Whoa, is this really just happening?
We lose ourselves in them completely. They create immersive cinematic landscapes that feel alive, whether they're set here in London or anywhere. So
there you go. So that's all we're going to talk about pretty much from last week, because there's really nothing else to talk about from last week. There is really nothing else to talk about. Let's just... Man, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 tabs on Kathleen Kennedy. And we're still not yet getting in there. You know, the thing, let me just go off script a little bit here. Think about where Star Wars is right now. Think about where, the franchise is. Now, we've been saying it for years now, and it's been diminishing returns over those years. So we're constantly getting more and more bad news coming out of Star Wars. And the shills will shill, and the seals will seal. Seal? Seal? Seal. Almost said like a sill. Anyway, now I'm fucking retarded. But that's not enough. It's not enough for this massive franchise that was built up over the time that it's been built up, the fans that it's culminated, you know, and there are, in original Star Wars, there are different levels of fans there too. But there was always good, honest and cohesive discussion between the different levels of fans. And when I say the different levels of fans going back to then, you're talking about like, you've got people that have just watched the movies. They might have heard about the expanded universe, but they, you know, they've never looked into it. They've never heard the stories. They don't care, you know? And then you've got your ones that do expand, like it can be that extreme. You do expand and they've read absolutely everything, like your Ryan Kennels, right? Now, I don't know if Ryan's read absolutely everything, but mate, he seems like the person that can speed read to the point where it wouldn't surprise me if he has read everything. You know. But think about where Star Wars is right now. The discussions are constantly revolving around, is Kathleen Kennedy leaving? That's obviously the most relevant one right now. Dave Filoni, his involvement in all the projects, how good or bad that is, depending on, again, now which side of the fandom you sit on. The discussions revolve around, oh shit, obviously they're moving forward with the Rey movie. They're working on the script. A year later, they're working on the script. It seems like brand new news all of a sudden. It's kind of like with the Kathleen Kennedy rumor. That's why I wrote what I wrote in my tweet. Yeah, look, this is the one time I could possibly actually believe it. We're now 13 years in. Yeah, look, I could possibly believe this, right? But I could have possibly believed the Doomcock rumors too. In fact, they're going way back when. There were times where I did think that there's a possibility that what he was saying was true. Now I just think he's full of shit and it's just clickbait. I've thought that for a long time. But like, you don't think that in 2019, when these rumors came out that Kathleen Kennedy is going to be fired and Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are going to come in and they're going to save the day and they're going to make Star Wars turn the corner and actually get better? I could have believed that because of how bad of a job was done. Anyone that's done such a bad job as Kathleen Kennedy's done, no wonder every year we're getting the same rumor over and over and over again for what, the past 5 at least? People are now talking about Star Wars as in like, oh, we're getting an Andor season 2. Awesome. Andor season 1 was really good. Oh yeah, it was really good, was it? How many people watched it? And the only reason why I asked that is because everybody talks about how it's, you know, got good ratings or they it was probably the best series that they've ever done. Now, yeah, I could argue that fact too. But I could also, I'll also argue the fact that it doesn't do any favors for Star Wars, for actually real Star Wars. In fact, it does damage to those things, just like some of those other things do. It's just not quite as penetrable to some people. But the reason why I ask, who were the people that watched it? Who were the people that rated it? Was it all the Disney shills and the Disney seals and then a couple of fringe people that are quote unquote, let's say my side of the fandom that actually watched it and thought, it's fine? Because I think the ones that did do that weren't necessarily doing any of the ratings stuff. They weren't jumping on Rotten Tomatoes and rating it. So again, the people that did give that a high rating, despite its monumentally low ratings, were all the people that love Disney Star Wars. Why wouldn't it be a high rating? The discussion that where we go with Star Wars right now in regards to how we discuss Star Wars is completely beyond what it ever was under George Lucas, And it's mind-blowing. You guys are fucking g'day Lethal with $2 saying hashtag Doomcock was right. And then we've got Lord Botha for $2 saying hashtag Doomcock was right. Thank you, gentlemen. You know, it's disappointing what's happened with Star Wars. And I think that's pretty obvious. And I think a lot of people have hit at that apathy. Let me just quickly say hello to Melissa. Got to say hello to Melissa. She's always around. Always supporting. And Riff as well. Riff Magos. Release the Lethal files. What do we got on Lethal? Condolences, Rhino. What? Why, Steph? How you doing? She's killing it at the moment. I'm loving watching Steph's videos. She is awesome. She's awesome. Condolences on what? Star Wars, like Disney Star Wars staying alive. Disney Star Wars. All right. I was going to talk about, there's a video game that a trailer or something got released for that I'm actually kind of excited for, but we'll talk about that a little bit later because I'm obviously so far now into Star Wars and the Kathleen Kennedy stuff that it would seem weird to jump in and disturb that with video game talk. Ding dong, the witches ain't gone. Fuck, I nearly just went straight into the normal thing. So this is getting ridiculous now with the Kathleen Kennedy stuff, right? Kathleen Kennedy is reportedly stepping down from the role of president of Lucasfilm by the end of 2025. And this was obviously reported from Puck News. And again, I think Ryan in his video made it pretty clear that this person reporting this, I can't remember the person's name, but the person reporting it has been right more times, let's say, than Doomcock. That's and Mike Zero. It's not much of a bar to go by. And this is the thing, the rumor thing, you know, I do sometimes think that the rumor mill, and I think it's pretty obvious, gets used, gets taken advantage of. It's thrown out there in place to create a reaction so that there has to be a response. And I look at what got released from Kathleen Kennedy in response to all of this. And I mean, she's been quiet for a long time. We haven't heard anything from Kathleen Kennedy. We hear everything from Daisy Ridley. We haven't heard anything from even really the directors. The only person that we ever really hear speak is Daisy Ridley or Dave Filoni. We don't even really hear from Jon Favreau or anyone like that. Right? But Kathleen Kennedy has been quiet for a long time. And then we get this massive, like question, like massive interview. I've got some of the responses from it. But hang on, I didn't even pull this up. Let me just, give me a second here. Where am I? So after this announcement, the amount of like shilling and stuff that was done, like you would expect it. And you would expect it from the obvious people, and it all did come from the obvious people. Your Jacobs, your Dans, we'll talk about Star Wars theory in a minute. But let me just show this. This was my response to one of Dan's shilling tweets, right? So he basically said the amount of, hang on. What was this in response to? So yeah, that was the announcement. The amount of undeserved scapegoating this woman has received is honestly second to none. So, like, this was my response, and this is basically my response to hearing this news. Actually, it's really small. Let me blow it up a little bit. Are you saying that the blame for the destruction of Star Wars shouldn't just go to Kathleen Kennedy? Because this is the thing. These people don't believe that there's anything wrong with Star Wars, yet they come out and they do say things like, oh, we're back, baby. Star Wars is back. Back from what? Back from it being as good as it's been in your eyes to being better than good or really great? Like, I don't understand that premise, right? But they believe that it's really good. So based in my eyes, it's been really fucking bad. Then it can't just be Kathleen Kennedy. Could it? I don't think so. It takes a team of people to put this trash together and say, yeah, that's good, and release it. It should also go to Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, Deborah Chow, Robert Rodriguez, Tony Gilroy, and many others at Lucasfilm. I agree. If Kathleen Kennedy steps down or gets fired, nothing will change. It will still be shit fake Disney Star Wars. But I also think Kathleen Kennedy deserves all the criticism and backlash she has received. She has turned Star Wars into an abomination of itself. Hashtag Disney Star Wars is not Star Wars. And it's true. That is what Star Wars has become. And it hasn't been for a long time. We've talked about it. A lot of people out there are talking about it. Your Gatekeepers Alliance, all of those members of the Gatekeepers Alliance know this. And the thing is it's not even just enclosed to that small group of people that is on YouTube here. It expands out, not just obviously, like there's a lot of people on YouTube that think this. A lot of people that are tapped out. For fuck's sake, Flash won't even let us talk about Star Wars that much because it's just that like apathetic. People don't even really enjoy hearing how bad Star Wars is anymore. It's because it's so obvious, though. It's going to be that way. Rhino's truth. There is more of us. Well, there is certainly more people that are apathetic about Star Wars than excited for anything Star Wars. You know what's going to be interesting? The Andor season 2 is going to be interesting. Andor season 2 is going to be really fucking interesting, actually. Let's watch this, actually. So this is a small little clip. I believe Star Wars Theory did a full video in this, and I don't really want to go into it. I don't really want to watch it. I don't really want to have these fights anymore. I'm so annoyed with everything Star Wars, including what the reactions from fans and stuff like this, quote unquote fans, because I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore. The one thing that I do know is that George's 6 movies exist and the EU is the only real expanded universe to real Star Wars. That's all I really do know. And all of these things that go against that, it's kind of like with Star Wars Theory's criticisms towards Andor Season 1 was the bricks and the screws, which then he copped criticism for. If he actually had maybe been honest and said, like, what the things are that are actually destructive to Star Wars as the reason why he doesn't like it, other than just bricks and screws, then maybe the criticism he copped for that wouldn't have been as bad. You know, how about we talk about like isolating down to, let's say, one particular thing in Andor. Let's talk about the what are they called? The tablets that are in Luthen's store. Not the entirety of Luthen's store. Let's just talk about the tablets that are in Luthen's store, the symbols of the fist and the hands, you know, that the wolves show to Ezra, and as like a hologram, they appear to him and then they make them disappear. And then the next time we see them, even though the wolves have magically made them appear and disappear and all of this kind of thing, are just in his store. Like, can we get some, or is that just there for the keys? Is it just there so that people can go, oh shit, I know what they are? You know, how about we have that discussion as opposed to bricks and screws? And that's where I see the fence riding elements of his criticisms. So this is a 1.5 minute clip from his video in response to the rumor that Kathleen Kennedy is stepping down. Let's take a listen. Oh shit, hang on. Tell me if you've got audio.
I just found out that Kathleen Kennedy is stepping down. This is where the
you got audio there, ladies and gentlemen.
I just found out that Kathleen Kennedy is stepping down.
This is where the fun begins.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Let's go.
Respectfully, just fucked the brand royally. And like divided the fan base so much.
She's been in power for 13 years, man.
All that shit, Last Jedi, Acolyte, Kenobi, all the sequels, like just...
We also got to be fair, too, you know? Mandalorian Season 1 and 2 was also under her tenure, so... Rogue One, Tales of the Jedi. People have been wanting her gone for years. She's been there for over a decade. She told George Lucas that she was, like, gonna have all of his best interests in mind, all of his scripts, all of his treatments, everything, and she literally betrayed him.
Wow.
Okay, so there's nothing really there that I can really disagree with. You know, he did make the distinction that, you know, she fucked everything with the sequels. And it's almost like, but she did have something to do with Mandalorian season 1 and 2, which are the 2 seasons that he likes. And what did he talk about? Tales of the Jedi, which is a series that he likes. So he's almost saying, but, you know, yeah, she did fuck shit up over here, but she's also been a part of these things over here that have actually been pretty good. That's how I got that. I want to actually take another sort of quick listen to this first part of the conversation. Sorry.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Let's go.
Respectfully, just fucked the brand
True.
royally. And like divided the fan base so much.
She's been in power for 13 years, man.
All that shit, Last Jedi, Acolyte, Kenobi, all the sequels, like just...
We also got to be fair, too, you know? Mandalorian Season 1 and 2 was also under her tenure, so...
See, he said we've also got to be fair, too. Mandalorian season 1 and 2 was also under her tenure.
One, Tales of the Jedi.
Rogue One, Tales of the Jedi. Are the examples that he gives for the stuff that obviously he likes. And again, this is where I went back to my other my argument in regards to those tablet things, right? Like Tales of the Jedi, dude. That doesn't just retcon shit from real Star Wars. That actually retcons shit from their own canon. Especially the Ahsoka stuff. So, like, you can say that it's good, but even in my eyes, it doesn't line up with not only George's Star Wars, but not even their own Star Wars. The stories that they've already come up with. Can we have those discussions? Or are we just like, you know, are we just the haters because we want to hate this stuff? I hate Disney Star Wars. It is an abomination of real Star Wars. I hate it. I've gotten to the point where, like, you know, even releasing episode 8 of Skeleton Crew, I couldn't even sit down and edit it because I didn't want to go through it again. I am that apathetic towards it. It is that, like, destroyed. It's that dead.
Wanting her gone for years. She's been there for over a decade. She told George Lucas that she was like gonna have all of his best interests
Yep,
in mind.
and she stabbed
all of
him
his
in the
scripts,
back.
all of his treatments, everything.
Hardcore.
And she literally betrayed him.
Wow. But is it
in
too late
13
at this
years.
point?
No, it's never
I don't
too late.
think
It's never too late.
Very
She did a lot
nice.
of good work.
So it's okay. It's never too late. It's never too late. I will agree to an extent that there is always going to be a 1% chance that Star Wars can be quote unquote saved. I don't think you could ever get to a point where it's 100% that it couldn't get better. It couldn't actually get better. You know what that 1% actually consists of? Complete decanonization of Disney Star Wars, the reinstitution of the reintroduction, however you want to fucking say it, of the expanded universe, and then the continuation of telling those stories and putting those stories and adapting them well to the screen. That's what the 1% consists of. Because if some studio out there, even if it was Disney, actually admitted fault and actually did that, you know, people would be skeptical, no doubt. But people would be like, okay, let's see what you've got. You're gonna completely reset, reboot, put it down to its foundations and start again. I'll give you one last chance to show me what you've got. As soon as that first thing comes out, if it's an absolute abomination of what they're trying to adapt, or it does go completely against what the expanded universe is, or the continued story that George Lucas would have wanted to tell, then people are out. Like, that is the 1%. So I'm not going to deny the fact that, yeah, okay, to some extent he is right. But see, he thinks it's like a 50-50 or something. If Kathleen Kennedy gets out and Dave Filoni gets to take over, or Jon Favreau gets to take over, or one of these people that have been put in power by Kathleen Kennedy gets to take over, he thinks that that'll fix it. He thinks that as soon as Kathleen Kennedy walks out the door, no, Lucasfilm needs a fucking Doge. Lucasfilm needs somebody to come in there and go, like, almost instead of asking 5 questions of what did you do this week, you've got to answer 5 lore questions. And they're got to be tough questions. They're going to be tough fucking questions. I mean, like, tougher, and this one got me before, but like, I'm even saying tougher than what is Padme's last name. Like, tougher than that. Fuck, I don't even think I don't even reckon I'd pass it. That's how tough I want the questions to be. We know that the only way that Star Wars Theory would be able to pass it would be if he had access to Wikipedia. Ah, see, that's where you're incorrect. Blake's got it. Naberry. Yep. Yeah, that got me too. I said Armadillo. It was Tim, Open Airlock Policy. I always do that. United Spaces Alliance that actually got me on that question. Her surname is Naberry. She's from the Naberry family. Anyway, let's continue this.
Worked with a lot of the movies that we liked as like a producer or whatever, but honestly, that comes down to the fucking director and the writer and all that stuff. She was part of a lot of these movies that we liked, but so were a lot of very important other people, like Spielberg and Lucas and this and that. Credit where it's due, but at the same time, credit where it's due for destroying Star Wars. She's taken such a beloved brand and turned it into something so political and literally dividing people by gender, political preference. Wild. Where Star Wars never used to be like that.
100%. 100%.
Put a ticket in. Make a name gay.
That's what she did.
It was the problem. So on the way out, hopefully we get someone who is very inclusive, truthfully inclusive, and someone who will unite the fan base and make a lot of projects
Like
that we
who?
love and we care about and stuff that George had in mind. Always respect to George, and someone who's gonna like actually give a shit. Hell yeah, baby. Hell yeah.
Best way to bet.
Okay, I thought that we might get a little bit more out of that. There's a lot there that I do agree with him on. There's a clip that I saw where he mentions like Dave Filoni and stuff like that, and I like with that kind of thing, I don't understand that. I don't understand it really coming from Star Wars Theory, to be honest. With the discussions that he's had, especially in more recent times with Mauler and Ryan, especially those two, and the way that they've been on streams together and they've criticized the shit out of Dave Filoni. And Ryan's got nothing. Like, I don't know if you guys saw from the MegaCon that they were at where they were doing their panel thing or something. And it was right at the beginning when they're getting introduced or something like that. And Ryan makes a comment about Dave Filoni and Theory kind of like sits back and kind of looks over at him like, did you really have to say that? You know, I just don't understand where the Filoni boner really does come from anymore. Especially after, like, this is the one thing that Time has done. A lot of the shills and the seals out there have said Time is going to make people see that the sequel trilogy is actually a masterpiece, right? Which is hilarious to think because over time, people have just despised it more and more and more. But not only that, over that time, they have come out with more and more garbage to pile on top of that in regards to whatever destruction it does to lore, canon, and continuity. And then there's the storytelling elements and the character elements and then the acting elements as well to all of that stuff. But man, to think that honestly, Star Wars, as much as there might be a small amount of hope out there that yes, Star Wars could come back around, it's highly, highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. Time doesn't turn a piece of shit into gold. Yes, but time has made things worse, is what basically my point was. Time has made things worse. The amount of shows that they've come out with have made things worse. Obi-Wan Kenobi made things worse. Book of Boba Fett made things worse. Mandalorian, if I've got to isolate that to season 3, so be it. But Mandalorian made things worse. And they honestly think a Mandalorian and Grogu movie is going to break the box office? Soul Assassin asks, why would you want a brand or franchise to succeed when you can make so much money off making fun of its failures? Because you can make so much money off excitement and like it's 6 one, half dozen of the other. It really is. And I truly believe that. If people are really into something and they're really excited for something, and Star Wars was a big enough fucking franchise that if something was good, like, okay, the best example of this is actually The Force Awakens in the more recent times, in this, internet YouTube era, that really hyped up after sort of 2020, 2019, 2020 sort of thing. You think about The Force Awakens and the amount of theory videos, the amount of And now, I must admit, if let's say you were adapting the expanded universe, it's harder to do theory videos, especially if you've read the books, because you kind of know where the story's going. But eventually they will get to a point where they are telling stories that we haven't yet had. And that's a good thing, right? But like, it's just oh, man, I fucking blanked on what I was actually saying. What was I fucking getting at? Somebody said something. Oh, yeah, the future. Yeah. I just think that you can there's a way to make money, quote unquote. The thing is for me, it's if it was honestly about the money, I wouldn't actually even be doing this stream. You know, yeah, it's always nice to get the reward of, you know, some sort of compensation for what you've put into it, which is always awesome. But it was never what I was coming into this for. So whether or not I'd be talking positively about Star Wars or negatively about Star Wars, or positively or negatively about anything, the reason why right now this is the thought process is because it is shit. Everybody that knows that is the majority, and they're like shitting on it. If the majority was like, and it was really good, and the majority was really into it and stuff like this, you know, making the like shitting on the franchise videos wouldn't be working. It would be the positive videos that are actually working. Huh. Yeah. I'm just as lost as you. Darth Ghostface for his 11-month member chat. Thank you, dude. Even if Kathleen Kennedy retires, nothing will change with the state of Star Wars is in now. No, with the state Star Wars is in now. Sorry. See, there's my dyslexia adding in a word. The woke mind virus runs to the core at Disney Lucasfilm. I think it runs to the core of Disney, to be honest with you. But yes, definitely for Disney Lucasfilm as well. A replacement will just be another woke activist. It could be, but like let's say it's not necessarily a woke activist. It's going to be somebody like I would think internally there, and that person internally is going to be somebody put in place by her so that they can continue her legacy, not George's legacy. I just wanted to show this because again, like it's nice to see that people are just taking this as a rumor at this point in time and not really like that. People have talked about it. Don't get me wrong, because it's topical. People are going to talk about it, right? But like Gary, for the 5th consecutive year, Kathleen Kennedy is leaving Lucasfilm. It eventually has to be true. Yeah. It does. It eventually does need to be true. And then obviously you get people like Star Wars Holocron coming out and listing like how good Kathleen Kennedy has been ahead of Kathleen Kennedy's retirement. Like it's a given. This is the other thing too, is like, guys, we've had this rumor for at least the last 5 consecutive years. It's meaningless until we get a statement. And this is the thing. This is running like the day before we get this. Kathleen Kennedy is not retiring. A reminder that she has produced some amazing movies over the years. Yeah, look, fucking being a producer has nothing really to do with it's basically you're the fundraiser, right? That's what I see a producer doing. Making sure the thing can get funded. Glorified secretary. Bringing George Lucas and Steven Spielberg their coffees. E.T. Poltergeist, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, which she was in, I believe. Gremlins, The Goonies, Back to the Future trilogy, Color Purple, An American Tail. Man, Empire, I didn't know that. Empire of the Sun. Hook, the Jurassic Park trilogy. Twister, The Sixth Sense. Like, she had nothing to do with The Sixth Sense. Are you kidding? And some of the shitter stuff. The Last Jedi. This is all the stuff that's under her fucking tenure. It's and at Lucasfilm as president. And this stuff is all shit. Willow got taken off fucking... Where's in the new Indiana Jones isn't on the list. I don't care that she's produced this stuff. That means nothing. Who directed it? Who wrote it? Was she in the writing room? Fuck no. The only reason why she was in the writing room was to top up the coffee cups. Was she behind the camera? Was she directing it? Fuck no. But now that she's got ultimate power of Lucasfilm and she is the president, now she thinks that she is this amazing artist. And getting all involved. Oh, yeah. Nutrient for 2, New Zealand. Doomcock and Mike Zero both saw this coming. Yeah, a few years ago too. Eventually they'll be right. Eventually they'll be right. Mike Hill for his 39-month member chat. Jesus. It's over 3 freaking years, man. Says Sean Levy's Star Wars movie is the next one to go into production, will take place 5 to 6 years after Rise of Palpatine. Oh, no, I was thinking of the Mangold one. It's supposed to take place previously. And will probably bring back some sequel trilogy characters. Well, that wouldn't surprise me. They've got to basically continue this narrative. They've got Daisy Ridley all on board. Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. Thanks, Mike. And thanks for being a member as well. Appreciate it. But she's all the Jedi. So just because she's, you know, like I said, it's a glorified secretary position as far as I'm concerned with this. She had no involvement in any of the stuff that's on this list that's good, which is most of it, to be honest with you. Signs, fucking another good movie. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Land Before Time. Like, these are fucking... These... Nearly everything on this list had a cultural impact on me as a kid. Never saw The Color Purple. But yeah. Schindler's List. Fucking great stuff on here. But she had no, like, actual creative involvement in these fucking things. Because if she did, it would these things would be like the bottom of the list. Isn't that obvious? When she didn't have ultimate control, fucking shit was actually good. Now that she's got ultimate control, things are fucking shit. And we're just talking about just the being shit at Lucasfilm. Imagine if she was producing other stuff with other studios. And then obviously there was massive speculation of who's going to take over. I don't think we need to get into this too much because I think it's the names that you would expect. Oh, Kevin Feige. He's going to leave Marvel and come over to Lucasfilm. Dave Filoni. I mean, in all honesty, if there is any truth, which I don't think there is, because we'll get into that, but or if Kathleen Kennedy steps down, you know what? I do hope, I actually hope that Dave Filoni gets the presidency, the Lucasfilm presidency. Do you know why? Because what then will come out will still be, and if not, be just as bad, if not worse, than what we've actually been getting. And it will eventually, like, the thing is that the seals will clap, right? And the shills will shill, but it will eventually get to a point where it's indefensible. A bit like the Acolyte, right? Who was it? Who was the chief creative officer that overlooks every project and every script and everything? Thought that the Acolyte was a good idea. Who was that again? Oh, I can remember his initials. I know it's D and then it's an F. I know. You know, and then there's the people out there that want to argue the fact that, oh, the script and it was already filming when Dave Filoni got promoted to that position, without actually realizing that he was promoted to that position earlier. They just retitled that position. They changed the title of the position. They finally put him on the website. And this is the thing that these people, like, it's almost the same as politics. They refuse to acknowledge facts when it comes to this stuff so that they can have their bullshit narrative. Narrative's fucked. And then we get into what came out today from Deadline. Now, if you go to the Deadline article, it is massive. It's fucking massive. And as you guys know, I can't read for shit because of my dyslexia. So we're not going to fucking read all of that. We're just going to get some snippets from it. So I think the biggest part of this is Kathleen Kennedy herself says she's not retiring. Now, look, this could maybe she was planning on retiring at the end of the year and it leaked and she didn't like the fact that it leaked. She wants to announce it on her own terms and stuff like this. And this is just damage control. Maybe there is some truth to the rumor. That's the brilliance about putting out a rumor and the thing that I hate completely about the rumors. And I probably hate it more because it has got me in the past to the point where I realized that I was lied to. And I just will not, I won't even take it with a grain of salt. I won't take it. I will just wait and hear Lucasfilm's announcement that Kathleen Kennedy's decided to step down. And this is who the replacement is, or whatever the case may be. But this is coming from the horse's mouth herself. Kathleen Kennedy says she's not stepping down, not retiring. I will never retire from movies. I will die making movies. Well, fuck. That's annoying, isn't it? Because that means that Lucasfilm isn't going to produce anything good as long as she's alive. Oh, g'day, Vex. Good to see ya. Well, thanks for being here. I'm guessing based on the fact that you're saying it's the first time you're catching one live. Oh, no, just catching one of your streams. First time catching one of your streams. There you go. I misread that. Thank you, Vex. Well, it certainly seems that way. It certainly seems that way. The thing is that makes this one a little bit different is it wasn't necessarily coming from a YouTuber's source and then becoming a rumor and all of that sort of thing. Like for the past probably 4, 5, 6, 7 years since 2019 at least, you know, we've had rumors nearly every year that Kathleen Kennedy is stepping down. It's coming from an insider, coming from a rumor, coming from YouTube. This is a little bit different. It's come from what? An article, you know, an insider leaking something. I don't know exactly the details of it, right? But this is the thing. Like I said in my tweet, it's like, yeah, this is the one time I can actually believe it. And the only reason why I sort of say that is because we are now 13 years in. That nothing good has come from Lucasfilm in that 13 years. In fact, it has been constant diminishing returns. Whether or not you look at it just as Star Wars or as a whole with Willow and Indiana Jones and everything else, it's disastrous. So it is believable. But it was believable 5 years ago after the rise of Palpatine because of how disastrous things were. She's still been there for the last 5 years, making things even worse. It goes on to just with a couple of dot points here and says she's producing several upcoming Star Wars projects. Well, really? Okay. To me, that would be obvious being the president of Lucasfilm, but okay. Has started talking with Disney about a succession plan, and it could be a year before discussion, before a decision, is announced. Okay. And will stay at Lucasfilm to assist. Well, that last one tells you everything you need to know. It really does. Hey, SWA comes through with 5 gifted memberships. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I love that clip so much. I don't get to play it that much anymore. So yeah, thank you. And I played it because Lethal's here. If he's still here. You still here, Lethal? And also too, was that echoing at first and then stopped echoing like halfway through? I'm curious. Okay, so there's, like I said, that's all you need to know. It's all you need to know. What else do we have? Oh, let's just keep going with this, actually. So here's another report about it. Kathleen Kennedy, this disgusting film. Who has me blocked? I don't know why. Oh, do they? I was blocked. But I thought blocked meant you can't comment and stuff anymore. So maybe they unblocked me. Oh, hang on. No, I'm blocked. Huh. There you go. Kathleen Kennedy says she is not retiring, but has been looking at an eventual succession plan for the new leader of Lucasfilm. Will probably make an announcement months or a year out. So look, that tells me, if she's saying that, that tells me that there is some truth to the rumor. The rumor came out as she's stepping down, like definitively she's stepping down. I don't necessarily think that like after looking at this, maybe it is the case. Maybe there is some truth to it that she's taught, like they're obviously discussing a succession. Obviously, based on what she's saying here, it's there, plain as day. And this is where, like, I will take this, whether or not she's lying or not. This is coming from the horse's mouth. The rumors, I'll wait and see. And I have every intention to stick around to help that person be successful. That's the worst part of it all. Because, that was look, I kind of hope that this happens. What happened to George Lucas, I hope happens to her. But I don't think it will. Like, George Lucas was, there to help if they wanted. No. Alora, the answer to that is fuck off. No way. It's too fucking big. Did you do it on CAF chat? Maybe we should see what Doomcock thinks. Well, look, I only heard this sort of on the grapevine that he is going against the grain on this. Apparently, what I'm hearing is this rumor came out. Doomcock said, no, that's bullshit. That's not what my sources are telling me. I'm not hearing that at all. And then when we get this from Kathleen Kennedy, we get the hashtag Doomcock was right. That's what I'm hearing. But I don't follow it anymore, so I don't know. I kind of saw something on Twitter about it. SWA for 5. Thank you, dude. Says, surprised that Josh isn't trying to promote his fake comics on rule of fakesters theory. Who's Josh? Like, this is how much I'm not even paying attention. Who's Josh? Oh, are you talking about Josh from Shill of Nerds? Nerds of Shills. Whatever. Is that who you're talking about? Yeah, Den of Shills. That's what it is. Yeah. Okay, so now that with that fucking context in my head, surprised that Josh isn't trying to promote his fake comics. I didn't even know he had comics. The rule of faces theory. Was he on there? I'm not paying attention to Den of Shills either. Where am I? Is there any more? There is more. Kathleen Kennedy says Sean Levy's Star Wars movie starring Ryan Gosling will be set between 5 to 6 years. We already know about that after the Rise of Skywalker. Is there anything else? Kathleen Kennedy says Taika Waititi is working on a new writer for his Star Wars movie. I think if we ever do get that's a statement that came out of her mouth. I think if we ever get a script from Taika, wow, it's gonna be fantastic. I already saw the first act that I loved, but tying him down is tricky. Are you paying him? Tying somebody down to make a Star Wars movie should not be hard. If Star Wars is what Star Wars should be, getting somebody to come in and make a Star Wars movie should not be this fucking hard. Dave, how you doing? Says, so Rhino, are you happy about the news that Kathleen Kennedy may actually be gone? Okay. You can go back. We've been talking about it for a while now. But the short answer is that really yes and no. I am at this point with Star Wars where it's like, you've destroyed it to the point where if you continue going with this, you may as well give Rian Johnson his trilogy. You may as well give Rey the women empowerment movie she deserves. You may as well do all of these things, because I'm not interested. I'll watch and criticize, but I can already, it's become so predictable that it's easy to see what's happening, why it's happening, all of that sort of thing. There's no mystery in Star Wars anymore. There's no shocking moments in Star Wars anymore. As much as the SEALs would like to think you that, a red lightsaber is a shocking moment, or, he vaded is a shocking moment, like at the equivalency of I am your father. That's why you get those reactions that you get, those fake reactions from the fake shills, the fake fans. But in the same token, like, of course I want Kathleen Kennedy gone. She's been the destroyer of Star Wars. But then, even if I get my wish and she goes, she steps down, she gets fired, however it happens, it happens. Do I think that Star Wars will be changing? Do I think that Star Wars can turn the corner? No. Do I think that Dave Filoni is the answer? Certainly not. In fact, he is just as bad for Star Wars as Kathleen Kennedy, as far as I'm concerned. There needs to be a Doge team that comes in and cleans house at Lucasfilm before it could even have a possibility of finding that 1% of getting better. I can agree with that statement. I think it deserves this, doesn't it? Where am I? I got to take this down so there's no echo.
They came bounding over.
Fuck off! Disney! You fucking cunt!
That's right. Fuck off, Disney, you fucking cunts. So these are all little statements and stuff, and this is nothing compared to the amount of questions that she got asked and the massive answers that she answered to those questions. Now, I will say there was a couple of answers in there that certainly came across as the best way that I can describe her answers is Kamala Kennedy. Like it's word salad. There's no substance to what she's actually saying or the answer that she's actually giving. That's not to say that she did that to every single question, but there was a fair few in there where she turned into Kamala Kennedy. Kamala, she can't do shit. Kamala Kennedy. Ryan Gosling, fuck, man. And, let me just play this really quickly. It's a little bit off the Kathleen Kennedy thing, but it's sort of relevant, you could say, because Alora, OG Star Wars, who I saw in the chat earlier, hopefully she's still here. I saw her. She's been clipping out clips from the audio book, The Ride of a Lifetime, the Robert Iger, the Bob Iger story. And, we've heard, the story that George felt like he was betrayed by Bob and by Disney and by Kathleen Kennedy. And the list goes on. That's in the book, apparently. I can only say apparently because I haven't read it. I'm just going based on what people have told me is in this book. But I just wanted to play this clip really quickly. It's 33 seconds. There's a few on there. So if you're not following Alora on Twitter, OG Star Wars, there it is. There's the YouTube channel, Soul Assassin. If you can put Alora's Twitter there as well, that would be appreciated too. Let me share this. This is kind of interesting with everything that's sort of happening, everything that's happened with Star Wars as well. And I mean, this book has been out for a while, so this is nothing that's new, but it comes across as new when you haven't heard it or read the book, obviously.
He said something else that I kept in mind in every subsequent conversation we had.
This is obviously Bob Iger talking about George Lucas.
He said something else that I kept in mind in every subsequent conversation we had. When I die, the first line of my obituary is going to read, Star Wars creator George Lucas. It was so much a part of who he was, which of course I knew. But having him look into my eyes and say it like that underscored the most important factor in these conversations.
He was trying to show you, Bob, how important Star Wars was to him. That's what he was trying to tell you.
This wasn't negotiating to buy a business. It was negotiating to be the keeper of George's legacy.
Yeah, which you and Kathleen Kennedy and Dave Filoni and all the rest over there at Lucasfilm have completely stabbed him in the back over. That's sad. That statement is sad. George Lucas said to you that his obituary is going to say Star Wars creator George Lucas. That's how it's going to start. His tombstone will probably have Star Wars creator George Lucas written on it. And you have that much disrespect for that man. You have that much disrespect for what he created. You and Kathleen Kennedy, Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, you're at fault too, buddy. Deborah Chow, fucking Pablo Hidalgo, all you guys. Have you guys lost connection? I just got an alert saying my broadcast has lost connection. Let me check my YouTube. It looks like I'm still up. Can you guys still hear me? I'm not frozen or anything. That was really weird. I honestly had a box pop up saying your broadcast has been... Okay. Sorry. My bad. So, look, it's so disappointing. It's so, as a person who feels like, you know, and every fan to some degree feels like they have some sort of like ownership over Star Wars, at least if they've felt like it's, you know, helped them in their life or it's made some cultural impact in their life. As gay as that might sound, it's the truth. You know, believe it or not, Star Wars helped me fucking get through some pretty tough shit in my life. And you look, I won't deny the fact that Star Wars Theory, drink a Foster's, thanks. You know, Star Wars Theory, you know, he talks about his battle with cancer and stuff like that and how there were elements of Star Wars that helped him push through that. That's great. I'm not going to deny him that. It's a deeper connection than just it being this fantasy movie show, whatever, on a screen. It runs deeper than that for a lot of fucking people. And it helped children with their imaginations as well. That's one thing the new Star Wars doesn't do. It doesn't inspire imagination. I don't believe that it does. Now, I'm not a kid, so I can't really fucking say that, you know, my little brain is you know, being inspired right now to go out and play and be a Jedi and be a hero. But you could say that about the MCU too. The MCU right now isn't inspiring any creativity or anything in anyone. It's a slosh on the screen. That's all it is. That's all it is now. It's all it is now. Did I get all the super chats and member chats? I did. Cinematic universes. I don't have a problem with cinematic universes, to be honest. They've just got to be done well. And like, the MCU, you could say that 10 years in there leading up to Infinity War Endgame kind of thing there was decent. There was still some stuff in there that was average. People talked about that, but it was never like shut down. It's kind of like, how people talk about the Star Wars prequels, really. Like there's stuff in there that is bad. I'm not going to deny it. Stuff in there which, George, you probably should have listened to some other people. You should probably allow people to tell you, like, George, let's do it this way, not this way. What do you think about this? Be a little bit open-minded, not just narrow-mindedly creating what you specifically wanted to create. Nothing wrong with it necessarily, but the results are the results. But despite that, people were still able to sit there and go, hey, I've got a problem with this, I've got a problem with this, I've got a problem with this, but it does tell a cohesive story. At least it lines up pretty fucking well. I can push my suspension of disbelief a little bit. Headcanon stuff is bullshit because headcanon stuff is trying to either insert to explain, like to justify how something works because the creator of that thing has no idea how it works, so can't explain it. So your headcanon has to do the work. Your headcanon it basically comes into play when the people creating it haven't done their job. That's the easiest way to say it. And that just goes to show you how shit it is as well. That just goes to show how shit it is as well. Let me get rid of some of these tabs. So, to quickly just recap on Kathleen Kennedy's tenure at Lucasfilm and, the rumors and what all of this means. In one simple word, it means nothing. It means nothing until we get an official announcement or anything from Lucasfilm. Even once we do get that official announcement, it means nothing. Does anybody truly have any faith or belief that they can fix it? Because like I said, there's only one way to fix Star Wars, which is, I think, a less than a 1% chance that would happen. I think it's less than 1% chance that would happen. Which means that there's a less than 1% chance, there's less than 1% amount of hope that Star Wars can get better. Or Star Wars can actually find its way again. 100% Darth Ghostface, it can't be saved. It just can't be. Like, again, I gotta put it out there. Could. But it won't. That's actually the best way to say it. Not that it can't, because it can, but it won't. And that's disappointing and fucking sad. Star Wars used to be unique. 3 years between movies, the hype is building, the excitement is building. Fucking decades between fucking trilogies. Expanded universe comes out, gets released, people get excited. The continuation of these stories, of these characters, expanding it to the point where they're creating new characters that people fall in love with and absolutely love without ever seeing them on a screen. Video games get turned out of them. People love them. People hate them. Fucking now what do we have? Fucking the only characters that they create are Reva. Fucking Osha. May. Chimere. While stealing from the EU to give you a quick cheesy plug at Plagueis. If you're a fan of that, fuck, man. What the fuck is wrong with you? fuck is wrong with you? Okay. Start doing a software update then. And this is probably like all Disney Lucasfilm can fucking survive off is shit like this. Shit like this. To celebrate the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith, the film will be re-released in theaters on April 25th. Sorry, my phone was just acting up and I just wanted to fucking make sure that it wasn't fucking busted. This is all they can live off now. This is why they can't get out of this era when they're making new stuff, when they're making new shows, when they're making new movies and stuff like this. Yeah, it might be on the outskirts of that, 10 years past Return of the Jedi. Fucking Sean Levy's taking place 5 to 6 years after Rise of Skywalker. But all the shows and everything are all revolving either within the original trilogy or sort of just after the original trilogy. And you might get some flashbacks too, sort of between the prequels, the Clone Wars and shit like that. Disney can create nothing new that is good. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's good. Like, yeah, fuck Disney for what they've been doing and everything. But man, if you're a fucking studio, I would rather have good escapist entertainment in any genre, really, than the garbage and the trash that we continually get. It's not to say that there isn't some good stuff out there that's actually enjoyable. Excuse me, a great example of that is Cobra Kai. Now, yeah, it was messy there in the middle. It was real fucking messy. There was a couple of episodes. There was a couple of things weren't that good. A few people tapped out. They were like, this isn't very good. Then they fucking, especially with this last season, they open up this first 5 episodes. I can't remember whether or not it was the middle 5 or no, I think it was the first 5 where people, was it this season? I can't remember now. But there was like a period of time there where a lot of people were like, this is shit. This isn't good anymore. They should have ended it already. But they fucking nailed it. They fucking nailed it. I loved the way it ended. Those last 5 episodes I thought were really, really good. Really good. So anyway, this is the only way that they can possibly fucking make anything like exciting for Star Wars anymore. Is to have these anniversary events and stuff like that. It's going to be interesting to see what happens at Star Wars Celebration in Japan. I've got to fucking close that blind or open the blind a little bit more so that it's not fucking rattling everywhere. Sorry, give me a second. Can you guys hear that banging? It fucking annoys the shit out of me.
Oh, Mother, read that.
So
Mother, don't let the American bitch.
Did you just fart?
Yes, I did. Tell you what to do.
I think it's bedtime, Mother.
Question mark.
I think it's bedtime for Mother.
You pushed so far.
That's the type of videos that we watch on fucking Happy Hump Day.
I gotta pee. Oh my god.
All right. fucking, you're not fucking wrong, man. How they did Crease, fuck, so good, so good, so fucking good. The grifters all get what they deserve. All right, let's talk about Andor Season 2. Let's talk about it. Andor Season 2 dropped a trailer. I haven't seen it yet. And we're going to watch it. But before we do, we're going to talk about how they're releasing Andor Season 2 and how this is actually going to go down. So I don't know if you guys actually remember, but the Andor series was supposed to be 5 seasons. 5 seasons. It was starting 5 years before Rogue One, right? And each season was supposed to be a year. Now, I can't remember exactly why or how it actually changed and why they actually decided to just go to 2 seasons. But then we heard a little bit more about it, and we heard that every 3 episodes is going to be a year, leading up to, obviously, Rogue One. So, the way that they're actually releasing this now is each week they're going to give you those 3 episodes, which is a fucking nightmare. A fucking nightmare to fucking, like, review and get videos out for all of this. So on April 22nd, we get the release. We get the first 3 episodes. So that's a year closer to Rogue One. Another year closer to Rogue One is the following week. April 29th, we get 4, 5, and 6. May 6th, we get 7, 8, 9. May 13th, we get 10, 11, and 12. So it'll be interesting to see how they do this. I don't know of a show or a movie that sort of has done, well, not really a movie, more so a show that has done something like this. You know, the closest thing that I can think of to something like this is like 24, right? Where you get 24 episodes a season, it takes place over a day, and that, you know, that 1 episode, that 1 hour episode that you're watching is literally an hour of events that is taking place. And the fact that they're actually able to make that compelling in something like 24, where each episode you're literally getting an hour of time and you're fucking like in it. 24 is great. But see, look, I understand what, what's happened with Andor out there in the fan world and all of that sort of thing. I don't think it's really that good. I know that Anna, that Star Wars girl, we've talked about it. Like, it's crazy because it's not fucking good. And it's not just, I know Anna copped a bit of criticism for saying that it's not good. And then she copped it by basically saying, yeah, that's because you're just a typical Star Wars fan sort of thing that just needs lightsabers and force powers. And because it doesn't have it, you don't like it. Somebody said that to her that is on effectively our side of the fandom. Like, criticizes a lot of this crap. Oh, I don't know why I'm taking those off. We've got to watch this trailer, don't we? All right, here we go. Let's watch this trailer. Whoa! You know the thing that gets me straight away with this? The music. The music.
We're in a war. You want to fight? Or you want to win?
Oh my, no, I can't handle that. You know what this music that belongs over as a trailer? Like a true story war movie. Mute the music? I don't want to because I want to hear the fucking context of the fucking trailer. Mon Mothma's been done dirty. Mon Mothma's been done dirty. I don't care what anybody says. Mon Mothma's been done dirty, and so has Bail Organa, mind you. They destroyed how smart and how intelligent Bail Organa is in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. But in the Andor show, he's not even in it.
All our hopes have come to me.
They basically replaced him with Luthen.
The revolution starts now.
What a swell party this is.
Oh, I bet you the shills. Actually, we've got a shill video to watch. One of Grizzy's. They would have fucking creamed seeing that. Seeing that. Cream. And hang on a second. Oh. I know this is a trailer. But if this shot is an event that takes place after season 1, then there's a big fucking continuity issue. Do you want to know? Do you know what it is? At the end, they were building the dish and it was basically being inserted into the hole. I'm pretty sure. Now I have to make sure. Now I have to fucking make sure. I can't make a claim like that and not be certain about it. Come on. Let's go. We want fucking Andor. I'm pretty sure it's at the end of the final episode. Let's see.
You came here to kill me, didn't you?
Dude, I'll make it easy.
I will now.
Oh, fuck. Okay, hold on. That's the end of season 1, ladies and gentlemen. Doesn't quite add up to me. Doesn't quite add up to me when you then see this. Anyway, we'll see. This could be a flashback. You never fucking know. But, yes, investigating. Doing my little... But, again, it is a trailer. It could be a flashback. You never fucking know. But if it's not a flashback, is anyone gonna notice that? Is anybody gonna say there's a continuity issue here? Did anybody at Lucasfilm think that there's a continuity issue there? No? Didn't think so, because they don't give a fuck. Fuck this music! is there actually no dialogue? Is it just this music?
Remember this moment. You're here. You're right here, and you're ready to fight.
I think my face says it all. Oh, that's an understatement. No, it's 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 podcast. Okay, that's not a trailer, ladies and gentlemen. That's a fan cam. Like, there's nothing to really, like, pinpoint. Yeah, Luthen. Oh, Mon Mothma. Oh, Sol. Oh, it looks like a missile being fired at a tank from a Apache helicopter. Cool. Oh, running through the fields. Oh, strut. Strike a pose. I couldn't find anyone to strike a pose. Explosion, walk away. Haha, laugh. Continuity issue. Taking off. Yeah, looks great. Time to kiss. Quick flash. Oh, who's he looking at? Doesn't even look like him. Might not be him. Oh, soldiers walking down a hallway. Hallway scene. Oh, the teeth lady. The teeth lady that always shows her teeth. She never opens her mouth enough to have her teeth come apart. They're always talking like this. The teeth. Oh, raised eyebrow. Oh, machine guns on. Did you hear what that sounded like? Star Wars, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, but that's not fucking Star Wars. Oh, Mon Mothma dancing like a like. What'd they do to Mon Mothma, man? Oh, jump into hyperspace. Woo! Oh, light machine gun show thing. This is the guy that Mon Mothma sold her daughter to. Woo! K2SO. Ah, people went nuts. Stormtroopers running into a hangar. Hug. Riot shields. A tank chewing up. Maybe they're repaving the roads. Oh, this guy can't even remember who he is running out. Looks like Marty's dad. Martin McFly. Oh, shoot that fucking dude. I just can't with this shit. What somebody says something in here, don't they?
Remember this moment.
Remember this moment. Oh, that's right. Oh,
You're here. You're
laughing,
right
screaming,
here, and you're ready to fight.
You're right here, and you're ready to fight. And then we get a little strike pose. This is where I should have gone to. George McFly. Fucking hell, man. That was just... That was nothing. What? Is that for both seasons? Even still for both seasons, that's fucking huge. Ship music. I couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. Well, that's going to be fucking interesting. It is going to be interesting. It really is. To see what happens. To see if the positive word of mouth from season 1 actually gets any extra engagement. or whether or not this just gets high ratings due to the fact that the only people that are watching it are the Disney shills and a few fringe people here and there. So, oh, man, I actually probably should have talked about this before Andor, but because it's sort of like in line with, you know, everything that Kathleen Kennedy was saying, all the shit that's coming up and everything that was going on there. But let me just touch on this. So again, like I was sort of saying earlier, the only thing that we keep hearing anything about is from Daisy Ridley or about Daisy Ridley's movies and projects or Dave Filoni's movies and projects, really. Like we get in other announcements and stuff here and there. Oh, well, that doesn't surprise me. There was no aliens in season 1. There was that wolf-looking guy that was screaming or whatever. There's one alien in there. Daisy Ridley's Star Wars film will reportedly begin filming next year. Are we talking next year, like 2026 next year? Because wasn't this movie supposed to be coming out in 2026? I mean, fuck. If we're starting filming next year, what are you doing this year with this movie? And this did come out in 2025. The studio is making some changes to the plot. 2 years. This has effectively been in production. And that's at least 2 years. Star Wars Celebration 2023. This is a joke. And I'll tell you what, if Kathleen Kennedy does end up stepping down at the end of 2025, this movie's in the bin. This movie's done. Well, I say that, but I actually, like, if I actually am truly thinking what I'm thinking about the people at Lucasfilm, actually, this will probably still happen. It really will. Actually, today, Drinker shilled. Mauler seemed more skeptical. Well, I feel like if you go back to the early stages of, I think it was the first 2 or 3 episodes that they released of Andor, Mauler was actually speaking quite negatively about it, and Drinker was speaking quite positively about it. And Drinker almost got Mauler, and I'm not saying that he twisted his arm necessarily, but he almost got Mauler to see it from Drinker's perspective, and he gave it more of a chance. And then apparently they both they must have been talking about it, and there can be influence there. And I'm not saying that, you know, Mauler is one of those people, because I don't think he is one of those people that would allow someone to influence him necessarily. But when it's a good mate of his, like Drinker, and he really does appreciate and like Drinker's takes on these things, he will listen to him, hear him out. And sometimes that can change people's minds. You know, I don't sit here and do all my criticisms for all the Star Wars stuff and all the lore breaking and the continuity and the canon breaking stuff and everything. Because I want to change people's minds. But if, let's say, somebody was to see it and go, oh, well, that actually does make sense, and that actually does change the person's mind on it, I'm not against that either. You know, at least that person is willing to have an open conversation about maybe this isn't right. Maybe there is something wrong with this, or why, or even ask the question, why is this a bad thing? If they don't know. But Daisy Ridley, like, fuck, man. It's getting more and more to the point where I'm like, are we ever going to actually see it? Okay. There is more context to this, Ghostface, as far as I know. He was asked the question, would you delete Return of the Jedi from canon to delete all of Disney Star Wars? It's like a compromise, right? I don't know if I could say yes to that. I want Disney Star Wars completely deleted and cancelled and decanonized and everything. Burn it to the ground. Like, burn it so that no one can ever see that again. I don't want kids watching that shit. It's fucking shit. Look, I know there's a few of you out there that are quite harsh on Drinker, quite harsh on Mauler, quite harsh on some of these guys, and that's fine. You can be harsh on these people. They are there. They are criticizing they are, what are they called? Critics of movies and shows, and they're not exempt from their own criticism. But it's like I sort of said with the Andor thing, right? Like, I would hope that if I was to have a conversation with Critical Drinker or with Mauler and tell them what my actual issues are with Andor, I would at least hope that those two people would be able to go, I completely see your point of view. And yeah, look, they're and I don't know whether or not that would then change their opinions of it or change, that. And again, that wouldn't necessarily even be my intention. But, because those guys, mainly those guys, I would say, said that it's not as bad as what people said. Yeah, it might be a little bit boring and stuff like this, but, the character work and the dialogue and everything's like amazing, really, really fucking good. That's now made it to the point where even the people out there that haven't watched it, when it comes to criticizing Disney Star Wars, it's the one show that gets an exemption. It's the one show that people go, oh, other than Andor, people used to say that about Rogue One. Other than Rogue One, these people didn't watch it. They might have watched the first couple of episodes and thought it was boring and tapped out. They might not have watched any of it. But again, because they trust Critical Drinker and Mauler based on previous reviews of previous movies, of previous Star Wars shows, of previous Star Wars movies, they take that on board and they're like, okay, so maybe they did do one decent thing. I'm not necessarily going to give it a chance. I'm not necessarily going to watch it, because that didn't change anything either. The word of mouth on this didn't actually really work too. So, look, I get it. And I don't like it necessarily either. It's kind of like what Melvin was saying about, we had all this momentum after The Acolyte, and then, Skeleton Crew comes out and people start talking about that and saying that it's not too bad, blah, 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 and that destroys some of the momentum. I'm not going to deny the fact that, yeah, it does destroy some of the momentum. But with some of their reactions to the way that they reacted to Andor, for example, I don't think that they're necessarily looking into these things as deep as certainly I am. In fact, I know that they're not. Now, sometimes when it's blatantly obvious, but see, Mauler and Drinker, they haven't watched Rebels, so they don't know about those tablets. I would be curious to see if they did know about those tablets and then them just magically appearing in Luthen's store, whether or not they would have a problem with that or criticize that. But they haven't. And I'm not going to deny the fact that it is, out of everything that they've done, and it's a low bar, we know that, but it is probably the best show that they've come out with. Rogue One would be the best movie, and if I had to pick the one show that at least it doesn't do as much damage as other shows to lore canon and continuity, it still does have those issues, but it doesn't do as much. It's at least competently written, and I would say to an extent competently acted. and competently directed and edited and all of that sort of thing. We see a lot of those issues in a lot of the things that they do. So I'm not going to deny the fact that it is probably the best show that they've done. Yes, it is. But it's not perfect by any stretch. It's not good. It's not a good Star Wars show. You know, you want to criticize the laws behind Luke projecting himself across the galaxy in The Last Jedi? It's the same thing as criticizing the laws of those tablets. It's exactly the same thing. Or any of those other fucking things that are in there. The Gungan shield. The holocrons. The money. All right, that's Andor done. And then this is another one of those things where it's like this narrative that I'm about to show you, this really annoys me. And there's one thing that you can say that really just shuts this entire thing down. So let's just play it really quickly. Grace Randolph, of course. G'day, Ryan Gosling. I heard you're going to be in a Star Wars movie. Let's just play it.
Star Wars fans are mean to everybody. They were so mean to George Lucas. There he is. Look how sad he is. Look how sad he is getting $4 billion. Oh, so sad. I mean, by the way, he did a bad job too. Let's be honest. And so he left. He was like, it's not fun anymore. And he left. Star Wars fans.
George did a bad job. That narrative, you know, it's constantly being used these days. It's almost the new Nazi. You're a Nazi. You're a racist, right? You know, they can't say that anymore because it's bullshit. The numbers are too against them, right? So now and it's not to say that they hadn't done this during that time as well, but now it's down to the fact that, all right, George's stuff was shit. The one argument that you say against that is, how did it last 40 years? How did it last as long as it lasts? How did it culminate the fan base that it culminated? How did it become the biggest franchise in entertainment history? If what George did was shit. You know, he looks a little bit sad in that picture, yes, because he's signing over his baby that he explicitly said to Bob Iger that on his eulogy or tombstone or whatever he said, it's going to say Star Wars creator George Lucas at the very top, the very first words. Of course he's happy. He fucking sold it for $4 billion. This mind baby that he had, this brain baby that he had, culminated in something that was worth, now he got more than what it was worth, but it culminated into something that was worth $4 billion. It still doesn't make him emotionally disattached to it. He's signing away his kids. He's talked about. He's signing away his baby. His life's work, his legacy that was promised to be protected by multiple people, and then knives. And the fact that you're trying to say that what George Lucas created was bad or had its own problems, then you were never a Star Wars fan, and none of you people that actually use that as an excuse has ever been a Star Wars fan. Because how can you be a Star Wars fan and say that what George did was shit? It's an oxymoron. It doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. You're an idiot, Grace. Just like the rest of them. Fucking moron. So, that's Grace Randolph. Fucking Grace Randolph. Okay. So, we are now up to Seal of the Week. Oh, actually, before we do that, this was the first thing that I had. This looks awesome. This only just got, I think, announced, today, this morning. And as an old arcade video game player, love the old shit, loved going to Time Zone, loved the lock-ins, all of that sort of thing. Loved your Duke Nukems and your old school arcade games. Love the fighting games as well, but like this kind of game, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, all of that kind of thing. So it's been announced that they're coming out with a 2D Terminator No Fate video game, and I got to say, it looks fucking awesome.
Peggy 16.
Man, so old school. Awesome. Look, he's naked.
Terminated.
Awesome. There you go. 5th of September, 2025. Coming to everywhere. Yeah. So I love those games. Love them. So we'll probably play a little bit of that, to be honest. Probably play a little bit of that. I got to figure out OBS and then hooking up so that I can do gaming streams here on YouTube. I've still got my Twitch set up, and that's where I usually do my gaming streams. But obviously, I haven't gamed in ages. But I'd rather do it just on YouTube. So much easier. And I don't care about honestly, I don't care anymore about algorithms and stuff like that. I'm not really paying that much attention. But yeah, that game looks sick. Game looks sick. All right, we're going to do Seal of the Week, but I do need to top up my drink. And it is getting hot in here, even though my fucking door's open. There's no breeze coming through, which is fucking gay. All right, let's. Oh, the Gatekeepers Alliance is in the chat. Let's see. What can I play? I keep saying this. I got to get some new freaking clips. I really do. Here you go. Turn your volume down because I don't know if I've adjusted the volume on this one.
Not bad, not bad. Now you.
All right, I'm going to play this one because it's a little bit longer. It's an old school one, but a good one.
I'll fix it. A little bit more. Turn a little bit more to the.
Is that better?
There it is. There it is.
I gotta see what I look like on the playback.
You're fine. It's good. You want to sit in your bed?
I'm missing my bottom teeth, and I've got a triple chin.
Derp. Derp.
I make Star Wars.
He looks like Kramer addressing Newman.
He does. He looks like he's like, Tim, what the fuck? Oh my god, that's great though, Tim. That's great, man.
Yeah, I'll fix yours right.
Birds of Prey is going to deal with the misogynistic crap that you guys have to deal with on a daily basis. I'm missing my bottom tape.
I'm gonna have a heart attack. I
know. Oh my god, dude. Rhino looks like he's gonna take a bite out of Tim's head. Nom 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 nom.
Yeah. Hey Tim, that ear looks quite delicious.
Oh boy.
Hey, I like the way you style your hair. It's kind of cool.
Man.
Oh my god, dude. Holy shit. Wow. Oh, that's
you
fantastic.
semi-bisexual like me? You can be a part of our alphabet squadrons. Yes, the alphabet squadron.
Yes, the Alphabet Squadron. Good clip. Funny. Good times. Good times with good people. Throwback. Yes, it was a throwback. This is a pretty old one too. This is from the early days, the one with Steph. Early days, like real early days of the... oh, well, not real early because Lethal doesn't have the yellow background. But the full Aussie.
I said Lyndon would go to the tree and do some ASMR for you, Lethal.
Mm.
In your honor.
I'm so sorry. He'd be hugging that tree. And then he'd be punching it and slapping it going, "You took my friend." Kicking it. How dare you?
That would be you, Rhino.
Nah. Boy. I'd be there going, "Why? Fuck you, Disney! Why?"
Good times. Good times. All right, let's do Seal of the Week, shall we? Are you ready? You ready for this week's nominees? How many do you reckon have to do with Kathleen Kennedy? How many do you think have to do with Kathleen Kennedy? Where's my fucking intro?
Hamill the Jedi.
All right. Oh, normally I'm shared by now. A little bit slow today. All right. Look at the seal emojis. We got the Jack Show link. You can go there after this. Don't go now. Just wait. It's okay. They're not going anywhere. Not going anywhere. I got to figure out how to raid too. I should raid them each week. All right. So this first nominee, his name's Raging Rhino. No, it's not. This is in response to my tweet. Omnicosm. I don't know if I'm saying that right or whatever. I'm sorry if I'm messing it up. But he had a request this week that this has to be Seal of the Week. So let's take a look. So this is in response to this rumor about Zendaya coming in as Mara Jade. Now let's just talk about this really quickly while we're here. Based on the canon that you have created, Disney, you cannot bring Mara Jade in under any circumstances. Now, to have a redhead, now redheads probably have a more often than not, they've got more pale skin than just, let's say, your standard Caucasian person. To put this rumor out there, it's a little bit ridiculous. And it wouldn't surprise me if they did do it. But eliminating, gender or race or whatever, color of the skin, you based on what character Mara Jade is, you can't bring her into this story. You can't bring her into your canon. It doesn't fit. It doesn't work. The character doesn't fit anymore. They bring in a young Mara Jade and they put her in a lesbian relationship with Rey. The end. That's the Rey movie. But let's see what Mads has to say about this, shall we? This is so not happening, but oh my God, I wanted to because this would piss off the right people. Now, look, this is the thing. Yeah, look, everybody's going to be like, that's not Mara Jade. It's fucking bullshit. How dare they do this again? The apathy is so far set in that nobody cares anymore. Do it. We're actually telling you to do it. Acolyte Season 2. Remake Acolyte Season 2. Or make Acolyte Season 2. Like, do it now. Like, we don't care. We don't care. Disney Star Wars isn't Star Wars. So with that separation in place, do what you want and we'll continue to shit on what you're making. So there's your first nominee from Mads there. You get Mr. Palpatine. Is this renamed Sheev Palpatine? Or like there was a couple of them, wasn't there? Anyway, so this is obviously in response to the announcement or the replacements for Kathleen Kennedy. She had a great career and was handpicked by George, which was a big mistake by George. Contrary to what the idiots say, she kept Lucasfilm close to his vision. I think we all know that that's not really the truth. I think we all know that she... And I think in Bob Iger's book, it definitely blatantly tells us that George Lucas isn't happy with what's happened. And it went away. He's even said that the 6 movies are his movies. Remember in that fucking video, the clip. George Lucas, not my Star Wars. It's so easy to find. Fuck, do we have audio?
Control of Star Wars, so it's going off in a different path than what I intended. But the first 6 are very much mine.
Does that sound like he thinks that it's going close to his vision? It's going in a different direction than what I intended, is his official quote and statement.
And my philosophy. I've kind of lost control of Star Wars, so it's going off in a different path than what I intended. But the first 6 are very much mine and my philosophy. I've kind of lost.
Thank you, George. Thank you for proving this fucking retard to be retarded. Just proved it to everybody. So simple. So simple. So that gets nominee number 2. Nominee number 3, surprise, surprise, J.I. Akeb. Dropping a casual reminder that without Kathleen Kennedy, you wouldn't have Jurassic Park, E.T., The Sixth Sense, Indiana Jones, Warhorse, Lincoln, Hook, and many more. I think without Kathleen Kennedy, they would have just found another producer, and we would still have Jurassic Park, E.T., Sixth Sense, Indiana Jones, Warhorse, Lincoln, Hook, and many more. What do you think, chat? Do you think that if Kathleen Kennedy didn't work on these movies, we wouldn't have gotten them? So many obnoxious people act like she just showed up out of nowhere with Lucasfilm when for decades she produced more generally incredible films, than you realize. What an amazing career. See, this is the thing. Like I said, I think if Kathleen Kennedy wasn't the producer on these films would have still happened. And if Kathleen Kennedy wasn't so like, I don't know, she's taken her power and she's just like gone crazy with it, gone completely insane with it. John Goetz becomes a law master. How amazing is that? Dude. Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So that's nominee number 3. And nominee number 4 comes from Cat Andor era. I will die on this hill. I love the sequels so much. So they're in a car. This is her. I love Star Wars. The sequels were so bad. And then just kicks him out of the car. That's her meme. And she'll die on that hill. You will die on that hill. Alone on that hill. Carl Catan Queer might try and hit on you. He'll be in that passenger seat, and you'll allow him to sit in that passenger seat. So there are your 4 nominees for this week's Seal of the Week. Let me put the poll in the chat. There are your 4 nominees. There it is. Get your votes in, ladies and gentlemen. Get your votes in. So just to recap, number 1, Mad's talking about wanting this to happen so that it pisses off all the right people. I think that when he says right there, I think he might be, talking a little bit more into it than just the right people, maybe the people on the right. Number 2 is Mr. Palpatine. Number 3 is J.I. Acob. And number 4 is Cat. Get your votes in. I heard I'm in Star Wars. Black Panther next, please. Dude. Ryan Gosling. Black-facing Black Panther. Could work. It really could work. I don't think it would work, but it could work. All right. Let's not click that. All right, headphones in. Oh, no. Okay. So we're not watching a video of people's reactions to the trailer. Sorry, that's what I thought it was on Grizzy's channel. We are reacting to... Let's read the title together. Let's read the title together. Disney Star Wars shills defend Kathleen Kennedy and cry over fans celebrating her possible departure. Isn't that funny? And it's not true anyway. And I think the people like that were truly celebrating it, I don't know. They might not actually understand it. They might not necessarily have been tracking it because everybody that I've seen who's done videos on this, whether it be Yellow Flash, Ryan, whether it be any of the guys from the Gatekeepers Alliance, Melvin, fucking Grizzy, Justin, Star Wars Marvel Purist, Tim, Elora, any of these people, no one's sitting there like, you know, chucking a party. No one. I haven't seen anybody chucking a party. I've seen a lot of eye rolling. Here we go again. Another rumor.
So
I just want to play that so the thing stops spinning. It was fucking pissing me off. So, like, these guys are crying. To me, these guys are crying over the fact that, yes, we've been calling for Kathleen Kennedy's axing for years. Years and years and years. Before she had an opportunity to make things even worse than they already were. Which it's now so far gone that, like, anybody that replaces her, like I said, nothing's going to change as long as it stays the way that it stays. And I don't think Kathleen Kennedy stepping down or being fired changes a damn thing. But I don't think that there's been this celebration that these people think that's going on out there.
So how low can the Disney shills go in their desperate attempts to defend Kathleen Kennedy?
Star Wars fans are mean to everybody.
We saw that.
They were so mean to George Lucas. There he is. Look how sad he is. Look how sad he is getting $4 billion. Oh, so sad. I mean, by the way, he did a bad job too. Let's be honest.
Is Wayne Brady gonna have to choke a bitch?
Ah, yes. You gotta shit on George Lucas and try and bring down George Lucas Star Wars to Disney level so that we can all say, all right, you guys, Kathleen Kennedy wasn't that bad. Leave her alone.
And that's the playbook now. None of the other shit worked. Calling the fans fucking racist, sexist, all of that bullshit. We just laughed in the face of stupidity. And we continued to criticize. And that's where, like, these people that did call us those things have no evidence of those things. They can't show clips of those things because they don't exist. And once they get past the point where people just aren't, like, they're literally rolling their eyes at these people that are calling these other fans out, they've got to go somewhere else. And that somewhere else is to shit on the things that the real fans say is really, really good stuff. To try and say, well, it's always been shit, so making it shit now is okay. That's the justification. That's the justification. So they're admitting in this statement of giving the prequels, the prequels or the originals shit, and shitting on those to justify why this is okay and why this new stuff is good, basically to them means that Star Wars has always been shit. I'm sorry, I don't know how a fan, I don't know how, that doesn't equate. It doesn't add up. It's an oxymoron. It's just not there. You can't be a fan of something that you always thought was shit and corny and, you know. And the reason why they're saying that it's shit and corny is because the shit that they're coming out with now is shit and corny, and they're trying to say it's always been this way. It's mind-blowing the amount of mental gymnastics that these retards, and that's exactly what they are, have to do to come to a conclusion that to come to the conclusions that they're coming to is like wildly like out of the realms of truth.
I am not one of these brain dead, anything that's Kathleen Kennedy is bad morons. I am an appreciator of Kathleen Kennedy. I'm a fan of Kathleen Kennedy.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You didn't even know. Fuck off. Fuck off. No, like, okay, maybe some really deep movie critics and stuff out there knew that Kathleen Kennedy was a producer on all of these fucking things. I had no idea. When somebody mentions E.T. and the cast of E.T. and who made E.T. and, you know, who made and who did Jurassic Park, did Kathleen Kennedy ever come up? Was anyone ever a fan of Kathleen Kennedy's? That is like beyond a joke. That is beyond a joke. You were a fan of Kathleen Kennedy's? You've always been a fan of Kathleen Kennedy's. Since Back to the Future, which I had no idea that she had anything to fucking do with, because realistically, she didn't. She fundraised for it. Would you like to invest in this movie? Will you give an extra $1 million if I suck your dick? That was Kathleen Kennedy's job and involvement in these things. And you're a fan? You've been a fan of hers for so long, have you, Campia? What? Like that? Nobody ever fucking heard of Kathleen Kennedy until she fucking got this job. And her fame has come from being the destroyer of franchises, being the destroyer of the biggest franchise in history. You're a fucking oath. You're a fucking bad liar, John Campion.
I don't think those missteps speak to the whole length of the legacy of Kathleen Kennedy and what she's done for Lucasfilm. I don't think you can look at everything that she's done and then a couple things you don't agree with means that everything she did is garbage.
I can. Because if you're trying to say everything that she's done and everything that she's done involves everything good that came from better quality artists and people, like, no. What Kathleen Kennedy has done is she has built herself up to a point where she's got dirt on people and all of this kind of shit. She knows shit. She knows where the bodies are buried. And when she finally got absolute ultimate control over Lucasfilm, that's what we're judging her on, is now that she's got all the power, she's just been an absolute disaster. Her involvement in E.T., Jurassic Park, Back to the Future, all of those things isn't her. That's not her legacy. Not even close to her legacy. Her legacy starts from what, 2012? When people actually knew who the fuck Kathleen Kennedy actually was, John Campion?
That's not accurate.
Kathleen Kennedy, it's been reported, is retiring. And there was much rejoicing through the land. I feel kind of bad, some people were very aggressive.
Yes, because Kathleen Kennedy, of course, has done absolutely nothing to elicit some sort of negative reaction from the Star Wars fan, right?
Don't dance on someone's grave,
Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh, mate, when she finally does step down, or she finally does get fired, I will be dancing. I will be dancing on her grave. However, the dance will be the fact that she's finally, gone. Like, I can't even stand her face. It almost looks like a fucking wig. Like one of those loose wigs. Like, she looks gross. Like, I can't stand her. But I will not be rejoicing that Star Wars will be being saved or anything. It'll be just... Actually, no, I won't be necessarily dancing. It'll be more like it's about time, really. I mean, you talk about fucking 13 years too late.
As far as I'm concerned, is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
What? When you think about it, all the bad stuff that happens with Lucasfilm, all the bad stuff that happens with Star Wars...
is because of Kathleen Kennedy.
Gets pointed directly at Kathleen Kennedy. She's always the bad guy, never the good.
She is the president of Lucasfilm, you absolute moron. Doesn't the buck stop with her when it comes to Lucasfilm? I mean, I know fucking Bob Iger came out and says the buck stops with me, but he's the CEO of Disney. She's the boss. 100%. Thank you, John. She's the boss. These people are delusional. Absolutely delusional. And John, for $5, says they finally gave her power and she crashed the biggest crashed the biggest franchise. She was a nothing producer who knew who to latch herself to. 100%. Talented people. It's exactly right. 100%, John. 100%. She's never, and that's why I say all of that previous stuff, that means nothing. Look at what she's done when she did have ultimate power. And nothing's been good. Nothing has been good. Andor included, ladies and gentlemen, nothing has been good. And if you want to go back and you want to say Rogue One's not that good. It's fine. And the Darth Vader scene at the end is fantastic, which is the only scene or the only part of the movie that really anybody ever references. Or if you ask them what their favorite part of the movie is, it is always that moment without fail.
Two things. One, she is the president, so it makes sense that much of the criticism would be directed towards her.
100%.
And second, trust me when I say she is not the sole recipient of criticism from the Star Wars fandom. I mean, are you telling me
that is very true too, Grizzy? Very true. The amount of criticism we give to John and Dave, and the other directors that are out there. Robert Rodriguez, when he got told that he had like a couple of pages of script and he got told to fill it with fights and the fights looked shit and the, magnetic armor and all of that stuff. The sole blame doesn't just go to Kathleen Kennedy. Did the sole blame of fucking the destruction or like what we got from the Acolyte go to Kathleen Kennedy? Some of it. And maybe you could say a lot, but a lot went to fucking Leslie Headland. A lot went to what's her name? I was going to say Moses Ingram, but that's fucking Reva. Osha.
that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau don't receive criticism from the fans? Are you telling me Leslie Headland didn't receive criticism from the fans? Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Rian Johnson get a lot of shit from the fans? Obviously, the answer is yes. Stop trying to make Kathleen Kennedy into this fake victim that we all need to sympathize with now.
I agree.
I mean, I have never had any sort of beef with Kathleen Kennedy in any sort of way.
Of course you haven't. Of course these people haven't. They think that everything that's come out from Star Wars is great. So why would they put any blame on her, despite the fact that they say, oh, we're back and Star Wars is safe. These people say those statements, yet they do say that everything that we've gotten out of Star Wars is the next best thing that we've ever seen in Star Wars. Their math doesn't math.
Why would you? Why would you, honestly?
Exactly.
Yeah, guys, why would you have beef with Kathleen Kennedy? Exactly. She gives you Disney shill access.
I should just play the video because everything that I'm saying, Grizzy's just touching on, which is perfect.
Access to Lucasfilm.
Fine, sellout.
If this news is indeed true, we should celebrate her achievements and give her the respect she deserves as she transitions into a much-deserved retirement. Says Star Wars Sexplained, another Disney shill Kathleen Kennedy has given access to. And real quick, just to go back to Grace Randolph's ridiculous statement from earlier, she did not say that George Lucas did a bad job with the prequels, which is a common argument made by many of the Disney shills.
True.
But she didn't say that. She
didn't specify the prequels.
And clearly stated that George Lucas did a bad job too. And I assume she means in general.
In general.
I mean, by the way, he did a bad job too. Let's be honest. And so he left. He was like, it's not fun anymore. And he left.
But, see, this is the thing too. The reason why he left, have you ever heard him actually say it's not fun anymore? No, that's not why he left. He left because he thought he was passing his legacy on, and he knew that the fans out there wanted the continuation of the stories and all of this kind of thing. So he thought the best way to do that with his age, the fact that he had a young daughter, all of that sort of shit was the reason why he gave it up. That was the reason. He didn't want to put another 10 years into it where he doesn't get to spend time with his family. He doesn't get to enjoy his retirement. That's why he got rid of it. Not because he's got sad eyes because the fans were mean. You fucking idiot.
So therefore, we need to appreciate Kathleen Kennedy for what she did, leave her alone, and not boo her at Star Wars Celebration.
I wonder if she'll even be at Star Wars Celebration, because she's probably going to get booed, and I think she does not want to get booed. So
the thing is, like, the people that are going to Star Wars Celebration aren't they're the ones that are in this video defending her. She's not going to get booed at Star Wars Celebration. Are you fucking stupid? No one that's a real Star Wars fan right now is buying a ticket to Star Wars Celebration Japan.
well, I don't know. I mean, if she's leaving, don't boo her. Please don't boo Kathleen.
All right, do me a favor, everyone. Consider that like button down below a massive boo for Kathleen Kennedy and a massive boo for the horrible job she's done running Disney Star Wars.
I already did.
So on top of defending Kathleen Kennedy, the Disney shills are also getting very triggered at toxic Star Wars fans and YouTubers for celebrating the possibility that she will be leaving Lucasfilm.
Just quickly, another thing on George Lucas doing a bad job, I think I mentioned it earlier, but look at what it turned into. Look at the amount of people that loved the franchise. Look at the amount of people that got something out of the characters. Fucking decades. These people want to say that it's fucking shit. Like, you clearly aren't a fan. It's just so simple.
Big day for the most insufferable people imaginable on YouTube. Yes, tell us these people trigger you without actually telling us that they trigger you.
Yeah. What a fucking bitch, am I right?
Rage bait YouTube channels now that they can't put Kathleen Kennedy in their thumbnails. Kathleen Kennedy is 71 years old. She's earned her retirement. And to all the toxic fans celebrating this, the white male straight dude bro Star Wars that only ever existed in your heads anyway is never coming back.
Oh. Sadly, I think that there's always going to be a piece of the fandom interwebs that are going to hate no matter what. I see it every day where they're like, nothing they make is good. And I'm like, then you're not a fan, man. Like, you're
no, if you like any of the stuff that they have made, Disney Star Wars has made, you're not a Star Wars fan. That's the irony of what she's saying here. That's the funny part about all of this. If you think for a second that they did a good job with Grand Admiral Thrawn in fucking Ahsoka, if you think that that was a good portrayal of that character, you're not a Star Wars fan. Simple.
You're not.
Yes, we're not fans of Disney Star Wars.
Right, well,
you don't have
that's
to take
true.
it personally.
We're not a fan.
You don't
okay
like it anymore. Just say goodbye.
I love
Just say
Star
goodbye.
Wars. Disney
Just,
Star
it's
Wars
all
isn't
right.
Star Wars.
Let
It's
Wilson
okay.
float away. It's okay.
Yeah, it's all right. Every time I see that, I'm like, I just want to be like, are you okay?
They want us to let Star Wars go and stop talking about it because it triggers them.
Yeah.
No happy or satisfied person is doing things like that. So you know that it has to come from a place of people who are unhappy with their lives, or they just...
I'm not unhappy with my life. I'm unhappy with what they've done to Star Wars, though.
Have some sense of lack of satisfaction, so they want to take people who are happy and are successful down.
Well, I got some bad news for you, man. It is 10 times worse than that, because it's not that we're angry or unhappy or dissatisfied with our lives. It's that we genuinely enjoy ripping on Disney Star Wars. And my friends and I, we enjoy ripping on Disney Star Wars shills. Or as Charmin Obey-Chinoy would say, we enjoy making Disney shills uncomfortable. All right, everyone. That's all I got for
Great video, Grizzy. Whoa. Oh, go and subscribe. There you go. Subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. Another great video from Grizzy. And why are we not surprised? Why are we not surprised? All right. Let's wrap up Seal of the Week. I saw Ghostface saying that it was all tied up. Are we still all tied up? No, we got a good 25 votes in there, which is nice. Well done, chat. Well done. Grizzy is good. Grizzy is great. All right. So, we got number one. If you want to get some last-minute votes in, number one was Mads, talking about wanting Zendaya to play Mara Jade because it'll piss off the right people. We've got Mr. Palpatine defending Kathleen Kennedy, and how she kept George Lucas's legacy going. We've got J.I. Akob also defending Kathleen Kennedy. And then we have Kat basically saying that if she was dating anybody or even just with somebody that said that the sequels were so bad, she would kick them out of the car. There are your 4 nominees if you want to get some last-minute votes in. Let's, what can we give you? Oh, I know. Hold on, let me find it. I hope it's not loud.
Not bad, not bad. Now you.
Pump it up while your feet are stumping. And the jam is pumping. Look ahead, the crowd is jumping. Pump it up a little more, get the party going on the dance floor. See, cause that's where the party's at, and you find out if you do that.
All right, that should be enough time. And we didn't get any more votes anyway. All right, we're ending the poll. And here we go. So, in last place with 15% of the vote was Mr. Palpatine. Congratulations on last place. In second last place, or third place, is number 4 with 23% of the vote. Kat. Sorry, Kat. In second place, geez, Jacob can't catch a break recently. He's so close every week. With 28% of the vote was number 3, Jacob. And the winner of this week's Seal of the Week with 31% of the vote, thank you for the recommendation, was Mads defending Zendaya playing Mara Jade. Congratulations.
I'm the Jedi.
All right, beautiful. We are all done. We are all done for another week in Star Wars news. Very good. Love the seal emojis. G'day, Cellshade. You guys have been awesome. Thank you. I did get all super chats. Thank you to the members. Thank you for the gift memberships to SWA. Appreciate that. John, Ryan Gosling, Mike Hill, Darth Ghostface, all the members. You guys are awesome. Thank you to the super chatters, Lethal, Nitrium, Lord Botha. I hope I'm saying it right. You guys are all awesome. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being here. You guys always make it great and fun, enjoyable. Have a good rest of your day. And yeah, that's pretty much it. See you on Flashcast this weekend. Then we'll see you next week for another Casual Rage, I guess. That's pretty much it. All right, go over to Jack Show. Give them a raid. Rhino raid them, ladies and gentlemen. Rhino raid the Jack Show. All right. We will see you all next week. Peace.
They came bounding over.
Fuck off! Disney! You fucking cunt!
A few minutes? Are you kidding? At the rate they're gaining?
No, what is it? You have to shoot this. Traveling through hyperspace is like dusting crops, kid. Without precise calculations, we fly too close to a store. They're bouncing to a supermarket and then...
Yeah.
Be a hell of a mess.
What's that?
Watch. You're losing the deflector shields. Go strap yourselves in. Be careful on the way out.
Yeah, sure. I'm taking it very cautiously.
You go away.
Bounce too near a supermarket?